In this video, we're going to walk through how do you complete an employee independent census form. Typically, you'll find this assignment when you're trying to quote for employee benefits, a PEO, medical, dental, vision, life. There's a lot of different applications. So let's dive right in so you can get this census out. All right, we're going to dive right into the employee information section. And we're going to start off with, of course, first name, last name. I get this question all the time. Do I have to put every employee's first name and last name? Yes, you do. And I'll tell you why. Because we need to match this census information with your current medical invoice. And if you're a virgin group, never been worked at all before, then the other thing we got to do is figure out your Curve RX score, which that's a complete different video. But the moral of the story is you got to put your first name and last name. It always behooves you with the insurance companies to put the most accurate information possible. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. We'll put in John Johnson. He is a male, which brings us here to the gender. On this one, it says, M or F. And, you can either put male, you could put M, you can put really one of those two, and that should suffice. It just depends on the sheet. On this one, it says M or F, and that should be fine. Some of them won't let you move without putting it in their format. So check that out. Date of birth. Yes, absolutely. Date of birth is super important. So the date of birth, we need to know, let's say you're in California, we have age banded plans. Age banded plans basically mean that the rate you're getting is based off of your age. So in this scenario, this person's 23 years old. So they would get the rate that they would see if for a 23-year-old for that specific plan. And home state, this is important, right? Because although this person's in California, and we'll use my hometown of Port Hueneme, California. Use them in there, and 3041 for the zip code. You want to put this in here because the hospitals that are in Port Hueneme, California, are not the same hospitals that you would get if you lived in Los Angeles or even Ventura. When the emergency rooms that are nearby, and the urgent care, totally different. So when we're mapping out the network, these are things that we all want to put into consideration when we're looking at that. Work state. This isn't quite as important for medical, although it can be, right? The headquarters state, if my company was headquartered in California, I'd have a different set of plans available to me based off of where the employees are. So I want to put that this person is in California. Okay. And this person works remotely. So if they work remotely, where's their work zip code? It is, you got it right. It's at home. If it's not, right, let's just say it's over in the valley. All right, so 91311, it's in the valley. And the reason why these things are important when you're filling out whether it's a census like this or one for medical, again, if you're doing a PEO audit or you're doing a census for a PEO, they want to know for workers' comp reasons where you're at, because it very often can be, maybe not in California, but in other parts of the world, you could be in California, but your actual work state is Nevada. Why? Because the border is right across the street. Got some people who have ever made the pilgrimage from Los Angeles over to Vegas, you would see that there is Whiskey Pete's and there's the state line. You might live in California, but then go work over there right across the state line. Okay, job title. It's important to put the job titles. They're different at every company. They mean different things. However, if we have chief marketing officer, right? And then the next person over here is the marketing director. All right. Those two people might have different benefits. You might have an executive level benefit plan, right? This also helps us figure out with the workers' comp piece, what class codes should they have, right? What job duties do they have? Now, the job description, here's one area where, again, like you want to be as descriptive as possible, but a lot of times, PEOs or some brokers will allow you to leave this spot blank because they kind of get it. They understand your SIC code, not a big deal. I always err on the caution of, hey, if you can fill out this information, great. If you need some support or you're not sure if you need to do it, just talk to whoever you're turning the census into. If you're talking to my team, I would tell you, as long as you give me the job title, as long as I know what you guys actually do, and it's, and we had a business discussion, which probably had by this time, then go ahead and leave it blank and we'll take care of it. Employee status, full-time or part-time. Very important. Are you eligible for benefits if you're part-time? No. Can you get some benefits? Well, maybe. We'll talk about that. But full-timers are going to have access to medical, dental, vision, life, 401ks, whatever it is you're throwing out there. The other full-timers will likely have to participate in that as well. Okay, next piece is the employee, what are their wages? Is it a salary? Do they get paid hourly? Like, how does it work? If you put in, say for this guy, right, $52 per hour, then we're going to want to put over here the pay type has to match. It has to be hourly, so you'd put an H, right? But we have a CMO here, and that CMO actually just gets a base pay. We pay him $120. All of it's in bonus. We want to make sure this guy's hustling and working for us. So we have salary type there. Hours per week, if they are salary and they're full-time, right, it's 30 plus or 40, right? Max is 168. You can't work more than that in a week. Also, this helps us out with workers' comp rates, right? If you have people that are working north of 40 hours, under 20 hours, we need to know all that so that if they are hourly, we can make a calculation and give you a best estimate for what your workers' comp premium is going to be. But, workers' comp is retrospective, meaning that it is based off of your payroll. So on the health coverage level, sometimes you'll see a little funky number system where it says -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0 means they declined it. -1 means that they're just not eligible, right? So not eligible, they waived it. 1 means employee only. 2, employee plus spouse. 3 is employee plus child. And 4 is employee family. So it's really important for you to put what health coverage they're going to have, because that's going to help us figure out what are your total premiums going to be. Family plan to family plan. From a plan design perspective, we want to look at what is the out-of-pocket maximum. What is this plan affordable based off of these wages that we have here, which is another reason why the wages are so important to put on here. You have to put the wages on here mainly because we also want to find out, are these plans affordable? If I have somebody making 20 grand a year and the plans cost $2,000 a month, then they're not affordable, are they? No. Does the job require travel? Again, this is more of a workers' comp piece, but it can play into medical. I'll tell you why. If your job requires you to be overseas in China for 7 months, right, then maybe we want to get you an expat plan. Maybe we want to get you a different type of insurance that, actually hold you down wherever you're at and make sure that you're covered and you got everything you need. Office work. Are you doing office work? Yes or no? Or are you handling products, right? This helps us out with the class codes. Are you at 8810? Are you an employee that just does administrative work? Are you a salesperson that's just, out in the field talking with people? Or are you inside sales? What's the risk? How risky are you? How likely are you to get into a little trouble from a risk perspective? Right? Insurance just wants to know that so they can give you a good rate. Handling products. This is super important. So, again, like these questions, talk to whoever you're turning this into. But generally, I do require that people let me know if they're traveling or not for work, because that is important for all of us to know. Right? So this guy might be traveling. Does he do office work? As a CMO, I sure hope he does. Is he handling product? I don't know. Depends how hands-on he is. We're going to say no in this situation. Why? Well, because like in this situation, if we're looking at workers' comp, and let's just say I have a CNC machinist and I got somebody who's working a print machine downstairs or anything like that, I want to know if they're actually handling the products. Is there a specific danger around what it is they're doing on a day-to-day basis? Super important for us to know. So as you can see, those were very simple questions. We went through it, all right? Not that bad. The one column I would say is kind of optional is the job description piece. Why? Well, because most of the time it's really hard to get people to fill this piece out. And also, I should, as the broker or whoever's turning it in, be able to articulate from the job title to the description something to help you out. But it's always more helpful if you tell us what the job duties are. Okay? So the next piece is you have these folks. You got Mr. Johnson over here. Mr. Johnson has a spouse. Actually, you know what? Mr. Johnson not only has a spouse, Mr. Johnson has a whole family. Okay? So Mr. Johnson has this whole family, and we're going to go to dependent census. Okay? So how do we fill this piece out? When you look at the dependent census, it'll have first name, last name, zip code, date of birth, all this information that you would want to know, right? So relation to employee, self, spouse, child. Self, spouse, child. Why would they do that? One of the main reasons they do that is because you need to take Mr. Johnson's information here. All right. I'm going to go over Mr. Johnson's information here. Right. First name, last name, date of birth is 5/5/2000. Okay. I'm going to go here. Johnson. All right. Was it John? What was his name? Yep. John Johnson. John's in the 93041. John was born 05/05/2000. John is a male. And there we go. John is not a female. Sometimes you will get this. So fret not. If that happens, skip it and make your rep fix it. No, but yeah, it's important to put that piece there. I will, generally what I'll do there as a fix is, let's see what we can do. I'll get back to that one in a second because you basically go to data. You want to go to data validation. And then you want to go into this piece and clear all. Why am I clearing it? I'm clearing it because it's just not letting me do my thing. And they just need the information. So see that? Again, you go to data validation, go to settings and you find it, and then you clear it if you need to. Don't make that a practice, but if you're having a hard time and you need to get the census done, then you get it done. Yes, I'm electing coverage, and the coverage I'm electing is one self. Okay. Now I also have Mrs. Johnson. Actually, you know what? It's not even Mrs. Johnson, right? Because we all know, hey, if I put my spouse here, totally makes sense. But let's just say it's a like a significant other. So let's see, Davis, and we're going to call her Cindy. Cindy Davis. Cindy Davis lives in 93041 with me. She was born 04/01 2001. She is a lovely lady. Let's see. She's electing coverage. Again, sometimes these forms, these dependent forms, and the reason why I put this in here is sometimes these dependent forms are not quite done correctly. So what we're going to do is 4. And here, this is a spouse. Okay. And Cindy's got a kid. And Cindy's kid is Lucy. Lucy also lives in the 93041. Lucy was born on 02/01 2017. She's a female. And she is electing coverage. All right. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put her as the child. Okay. So, cool thing, you guys got to see some troubleshooting. Believe me, it happens all the time with these, right? Where you try to enter in something and it just doesn't quite come together, or it's got some like data validation rule where you're not sure what's going to happen. I generally will just go ahead and bypass and clear out those data validation points so I can easily get this done and submit it to my rep. And then generally when they upload it, it will go ahead and still catch the numbers and you should be all good. If not, at the end of the day, you just let your rep or your broker, whomever's working with you, they should be dealing with this stuff all the time, not you, right? So when you look at the employee data, we've got our employee in here. We got all the data points filled out. We've got the dependent census. So now we know he's got a family plan. He's got John Johnson, Cindy Davis, Lucy Davis. Even though they're not directly married, they're still technically either a spouse or sometimes they won't even have spouse and a significant other in here. But anytime you see a significant other, they would fall into the same category as a spouse, right? So that might mean somebody's either, hey, like they're in a state where maybe same-sex marriage isn't recognized, but they would still consider themselves together. This could also be a situation where, say like my wife and I, before we were married, she was on my medical plan and she was a significant other. She lived in the same household as I did and she was on our plan. So spouse can interchange between that. Children, they're children, they're your child or they're not right on the plan. So you don't really have too much play there. So that's it for now. That's the employee census, the dependent census. If you have any questions about getting this stuff done, feel free to reach out to us. More than happy to, be of help or walk you through this live. All of these things are like snowflakes. Every group is unique. There's always something in here where there may be a question you wish you can ask. Feel free to leave it in the comments or just reach out to us directly, set up a time for a strategy session, and just let me know like you want to go through the census real quick and make sure it's correct. And I'm happy to spend some time with you and see if we can figure that out. Again, I hope that you got something from this video. If you did, go ahead, like, subscribe, share the video with others who are also struggling with filling out these census documents. And we look forward to seeing you get some great rates this season. Take care.